Alright, so one of my favorite topics of all time is inner work, especially inner work around the mind. So I'm kind of obsessed with understanding my mind and understanding how it works and how I can influence it. So there's something I wanted to share that helps me a lot because I'm a really visual person, so I love to think in pictures and analogies. So yeah, I thought I'd just share how I like to, like one way of how I picture it, because there's actually many ways how I like to picture it. So one way is this. Obviously all these ideas don't just come from me. They're like influenced by people like Carl Jung and like all these like smart people out there, like also like random people that I met throughout my life. So credits to those people. So we have the conscious. How do I want to explain it? So I like to think of it as this. So we have this part of our like mind that is aware. So in other words, the conscious / aware. And then down here we have the unconscious. Unaware part. So in our conscious and aware part, this is the part where we have all our thoughts. They're kind of random. Actually, if you really like look at them, they're not that random, but they seem random. They're like chaotic. They're like just all over the place. So I want to just imagine them as little bubbles. There's like thousands of them, like just a lot, and they're like all here. So they just pop up randomly. When we are on autopilot and we don't really like pay attention to them, they're just there running like the whole time. But when we do like use our inner eye and look like, all right, what's happening here? Then I feel like for myself, I became aware, okay, like there's a pattern here. Like this thought is coming up quite often. This thought is coming up often. This thought came up in a different way, but it came up anyways. And then I was like, all right, this doesn't seem so random. It almost feels like they're fabricated. And then I was like, it feels almost if they come from a place much deeper. And this is where we come to the unconscious mind, the parts that we're not aware of. Here, I believe, are our core beliefs. Much bigger bubbles. And those are the beliefs that shape how we see ourselves, how we see our environment and the world. So this is how we think the world works. This is how we think we work, who we are, what we think from our core. I like to think as them as if they're like little fabrics. So let's say one of those beliefs is I am ugly. So this is a fabric, and every time something happens outside, let's say I see a person and they just look at me. Nothing happens. They don't say a word. They just look at me. Now they look at me, and because I have this thought, this gets triggered, and it's like, all right, we have to fabricate our thoughts now. And we have to have core beliefs. Like, it can't be that we don't have any beliefs. Like, I don't think that's possible. So let's say there are 8 places or something, so we have to fill them with something. And usually that happens throughout childhood. So when we're like really little and our beliefs are formed, let's say here are like 8 places. How many do we have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is just an estimate. Like I don't know how much space we have. So let's say we have 8 spaces and they have to be filled with something. So one is like maybe I'm ugly. The other could be I'm smart. Something else could be, I am not worthy of love, and so on. So at this point, it's not really important how they form, like they come from our childhood, probably from our parents, from our teachers, from classmates or whatever. So this is the time when they were filled, and now we have them. Now we have our little fabrics, and every time something happens, doesn't matter, whatever happens outside, it will trigger one or more of our fabrics. Everything that happens will trigger one of those fabrics to activate and be like, all right, let's produce some thoughts. So if I see this person, the person looks at me and it triggers this, I'm ugly, then I will get lots of thoughts like, oh, like I have the wrong body shape. Oh, my dress is like looking so dirty. Oh, like I have the wrong haircut. Oh, I have so many pimples. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And so this is how we have our thoughts. Now, if we start to get aware of our thoughts, which is the first step. So we start to observe and we're like, okay, this is a pattern here. Like these thoughts are like kind of like coming up all the time. Then what we can do is write them down, like, oh, wrong body shape, wrong hair color, wrong skin color, wrong this, like too many pimples, too like teeth are too like yellow, or whatever it is that makes you feel that way. Write it down. And then like look at the theme. Like what is the theme? Like you have lots of random thoughts and they all fit into one of these categories that you have as your core beliefs. So what is the common theme? And let's say like you have all these things, you're like, all right, this feels like my thoughts want to signal me that I'm ugly. So my belief must be somewhere down here that I'm ugly. So then when you come to that step where you identified your belief, I am ugly, you can now choose if you want to keep that belief or not. And this is the cool thing, like we are not really the creators of our thoughts in the beginning. Like they were like kind of implanted in us from our parents or teachers or like environment, the world and stuff. But once we are aware of them, we can certainly change them. So another way to look at it is as if this is a garden, those are the plants. Here's a flower, here's an apple tree. So in order for the flowers and the apple tree and all the kind of things to grow, they have to have a seed. So let's say you have a garden and you didn't plant the seeds. Now you have all these flowers and plants and all that kind of stuff and trees. Now, maybe some of them are cool. You're like, oh, actually, I like apple trees. Like, I want to keep that. But you're like, I don't like cherry trees. I'm allergic to cherries. So your garden doesn't have space for millions and millions and millions of plants. So you have to be selective. So you have to go down to the root if you want to change. Let's say you say like, I don't like the cherry tree. Like, first of all, like, so just like I said before, you have to go around and have a look and be like, all right, what's in my garden? And then you're like, all right, I can see a cherry tree and I don't like it. Now, if you just cut the cherry tree leaves, the cherry tree will still be there and the leaves will grow again, just like the fabric here. Like you have the fabric. If you just like, I don't like this belief, I'm just saying a random affirmation, like I'm beautiful, I'm pretty. Now, if you still have that fabric here, it will just produce more and more and more. So if you just cut the cherry, you just cut the leaf, it's not gonna do anything. Maybe just for a second you're like, okay, now this tree doesn't look as big as before, but it's still there. It will grow even bigger at some point. So you have to go down to the root. And to take it out, you have to grab the root. You have to take it out, throw it away. And now there's space again. But if you don't plant anything, maybe something random will just be planted in here. So you have to plant something new. So you said, I don't like this idea of thinking of me, I'm ugly. What do I want to believe instead? So instead of thinking I'm ugly, I want to believe I am beautiful. I was created that way by God, exactly that way, for a purpose, and it makes me beautiful. Like, God didn't make any mistakes with it. I'm beautiful the way I am. So this is my new belief. Obviously, just because you say it once, it won't grow. Like, it won't be there. Like, it's not strong enough. It's just a little tiny seed by now. It's like not a whole tree that has fruits and leaves and all that kind of stuff. So you have to water it. Like, you have to take care of it. You have to give it the right environment. You have to give it the right things for it to grow. And something that helps is remind yourself every time you see your thoughts pop up, like, oh, all right, they come from this. Do I want it, yes or no? If no, what do I want to believe instead? Okay, and just visualize it. Visualize you just planting the seed here, visualize it growing, and do it often enough, and you will see that it will be replaced. So one day, instead of having a cherry tree, you will have the tree you actually want, with the fruits that you actually want. So you will have the fabric, and it will produce the thoughts that are actually helpful. So next time you walk around and there's a person looking at you, they don't say anything. It can be the exact same person having the exact same thoughts as last time that you obviously didn't see. And this time, because you think you're beautiful, you see them and you say like, oh, they smiled at me. They must see my beauty and they must think I'm beautiful. Yeah. So this is one way how I like to see the mind. I hope this helped you a little bit. And see you in the next one.